Thief frees animals, steals gerbils. Drunk driver gives cops the finger. How not to steal a vet. Tune in tomorrow when I climb a cell tower. Quick, hide and dryer. Unidentified impromptu acrobat. Don't get that close to the game. Don't impersonate a transgender to evade capture. Genius makes a bunch of dumb moves. You stole a what? Two dudes break into the wrong house. Cop steals confiscated drugs and calls 911. I hope at least one of those piqued your interest, and if there is any you want to skip, there are links in the description. Anyway, let's give the aspiring criminals in the audience some life lessons, but a little warning, if you're an aspiring criminal and you actually need to be told any of these lessons, and you still commit crimes, I will see you in a Monday video. Let's get started with the stupid. Thief frees animals and steals gerbils. At about 3 a.m. on July 11th, 2024, Columbus, Ohio police got a call about a break-in at a restaurant. Police reported to the scene, confirmed the restaurant was broken into, but no suspect was found. About 10 minutes later, police received a call about a break-in at Petland. Police report to the scene, confirm a break-in. Several animal enclosures were also forced open with animals roaming freely in and around the store. Again, no suspect was found. A little bit before 4 a.m., police received a call that Famous Footwear was broken into. Again, they report to the scene, confirm the break-in, but no suspect is found. Then at 4 a.m., someone witnesses a man in a leopard print suit and brand new boots sleeping on a bench. They think this is extremely unusual and call 911 to have cops investigate. Police reported to the scene and found Matthew Pancake. Yes, that's his real name. I'd have called him Waffles. He's wearing boots stolen from Famous Footwear. There's broken glass from the restaurant in his pants with no explanation of how that happened. There's also 4 hamsters from Petland in his pants. Again, no explanation of how. So Pancake's in jail now. Hey Waffles, don't take a nap in the middle of a crime spree. Drunk driver gives cops the finger. On the afternoon of Saturday, November 23rd, 2024, the Vette County Sheriff's Office received a call from a concerned citizen about a possible drunk driver. When police located the suspect car, they found it parked haphazardly along the road. Well, okay, he had hit a guide rail and disabled his vehicle. Police approached the car to find that the man inside had his finger stuck in a White Claw can because he didn't even have the sense to get drunk on something good. When police asked the man if he was okay, he responded, "I'm totally perfect," in extremely slurred speech. Police arrested him and booked him for DUI and destruction of public property. So, if you're day drinking, maybe don't day drunk drive too. How not to steal a vet. In February of 2024, Isaiah Walker found himself at the Love truck stop outside Wilcox on I-10 without a ride the rest of the way home. Now, a normal person might have tried to hitch a ride with a driver, but Isaiah has a different plan. He struck up a conversation with one of the drivers about his job, asking about workload and whatnot while the driver was outside his semi. When the driver started climbing into his truck, Walker threw him to the ground, climbed into the truck, and drove away, with the driver's load of 10 Corvette C8s valued at well over $1 million. When cops attempted to pull him over, he drove away at what is described as a high rate of speed. I-10 in Arizona has speed limits that range between 65 and 75 miles per hour, so I think that high rate of speed in a semi might be a little bit of a stretch here. They also claim he was driving recklessly, which I can believe. When police eventually stopped Walker, he claimed that he only stole the truck because he needed a ride home from prison, which he had just been released from. Headed home from jail? Maybe stealing 10 cars in a semi is not a good idea. Tune in tomorrow when I climb a cell tower. On March 27, 2024, drivers were alerted to a road closure on Northwest 29th Street in Miami, Florida between Northwest 12th and Northwest 14th Avenues due to a man climbing a cell tower. I'm certain everyone knew about the closure as it was announced through X. The news crew from WSVN-TV saw the report and arrived on scene quickly enough to grab video of the man who was the reason for the road closure. The station got footage of him nearly reaching the top. Apparently, Richard Smith dressed up like a T-Mobile worker and walked right past other workers on the scene. As he climbed the tower, he disconnected power lines from it. Smith was asked by an officer on the scene if he reached the top, and when he responded affirmatively, the officer responded, "That's crazy." Smith apparently pulled this little stunt so he could live stream it. Smith was taken into custody and charged, but the charges were later dropped. If you're planning on live streaming something that is illegal and dangerous, maybe find a secluded area to live stream it from. Quick, hide in the dryer! On March 17th, Pensacola police received a call that a felony assault suspect was hiding out in a particular residence. So the cops head over to check the situation out. Police begin searching the residence, and it turns out the tip was either incorrect or outdated information as they do not find the suspect. They checked the kitchen and found nothing but food. They checked the living room and couldn't find a show they wanted to watch. They checked the bedrooms. Reports indicate that one was too soft, one was too hard, and one was just right, but the suspect wasn't in any of them. Then one of the officers decided to do his laundry, and when he opened up the dryer, the suspect was all folded up inside of it. It is believed that he folded himself in half at the waist and backed into the dryer. He did manage to raise both hands when police opened the dryer. Look, you really should have learned not to hide in small things from Manson in 1969. Unidentified Impromptu Acrobat. On March 23, 2023, police in Vancouver were enjoying a peaceful Saturday afternoon. They attempted to apprehend a man over an incident in a restaurant. First, the man gets onto the roof of the restaurant. From that vantage point, he starts throwing bricks at first responders who are gathering on the street below him. The man then decides to do some amateur acrobatics by climbing onto a wire that is approximately 30 feet off the ground. The man spent the next 45 minutes climbing around on the wire. At one point, he got confident enough in his skills to remove his shirt. Eventually, the man slipped and fell from the wire while attempting to move from one wire to another wire. Luckily, the fire department had parked a truck underneath him before this happened, which cushioned his impact. The man was taken to a hospital where he was treated and released before being taken into custody and charged with several felonies over the incident. Apparently, pursuing a new career in the circus is not a good idea while you're running from the police. Don't get that close to the game. In a stunning Ohio versus Ohio matchup, the Cincinnati Reds were playing the Cleveland Guardians. The first inning ended with a score of 1-0 Cincinnati. In the third inning, Cleveland scored 3 runs, making the score 3-1 Cleveland. The 7th inning comes and Cincinnati scores again. The 8th inning and Cleveland scores. In the 9th inning, a fan finally got bored enough to do something about this game. So William Hendon ran onto the field. He attempted to fist bump a player but was denied by the player. Hendon then ran across the field and tried to talk to a different player. Hendon noticed security and started running again before stopping to do a backflip in left field and being captured. Next time you're gonna trespass, maybe do it at a venue that's not currently being televised. Don't impersonate a transgender to evade capture. This one starts with a boat getting stolen in Florida, which I don't think is all that unusual of an occurrence. Then a John Deere Gator got stolen too. If you don't know what they are, there's one on your screen right now. Police are all busy doing police stuff and investigating these thefts when they zero in on 33-year-old Joshua Kolotka. They're pretty sure they know what area he's in, so they start canvassing for him. One of the officers notices a woman leaving a residence and decides to take a closer look at her. It was Kolotka attempting to impersonate a transgender woman in order to evade capture. It did not work. Hey, those Florida cops are usually pretty good at spotting a transgender woman. Just remember that. genius makes a bunch of dumb moves. Have you seen Catch Me If You Can? We're gonna take a couple minutes and talk about the guy whose life story that's based on. Except we're going to stick to facts. Many claim that Abagnale is incredibly intelligent, but he proves it's possible to be incredibly intelligent and still lack the experience and common sense to make smart decisions. So let's get in the hot tub time machine and zip all the way back to 1964. Abagnale is a 16-year-old runaway on the streets of New York City. Cops are looking for him for truancy as well as fraud for passing bad checks. Out of this desperation, Abagnale hatches the plan that will make him a true crime star. Abagnale learns that every major airline allows their employees to fly anywhere in the world for free. So he figures if he can get his hands on a pilot's uniform, he can make use of his prematurely gray hair and his forgery skills to fly around the world for free. He needed some money to make this plan happen, so he gets his hands on a security guard's uniform, goes to a local bank at night and puts a sign on the night deposit saying it is broken and please leave night deposits and receipts with the guard. Abagnale stood nearby in the security guard's uniform with a shopping cart to place the deposits and receipts into. Once he's collected the majority of the night's deposits, he simply walks away, takes the money, and loses the receipts. Then he has the money he needs to forge a Pan Am employee badge, which is a lot harder and more costly in 1964 than it would be today. It's also a lot more useful considering Pan Am's out of business. He also has the money to purchase a Pan Am pilot's uniform. Once Abagnale has those two things, he begins flying all over the world. Abagnale flew roughly 1 million miles for free, every one of them in the cockpit jump seat. He visited 26 countries on his 5-year-long crime spree. That's right, he actually managed to get away with this BS for 5 years. He financed these years of permanent vacation by cashing bad checks. Abagnale estimates he passed about $2.5 million worth of bad checks on the 5-year-long crime spree. And it's about $23.75 million today. Abagnale also created several false identities for himself, all while still a minor, all without the help of modern computers and printers. In Georgia, they knew the minor as a pediatrician. In Louisiana, he became an attorney. He even worked for the state's attorney general for a year. In Utah, he taught sociology at BYU, all before he turned 18. Then, in 1969, the 21-year-old was arrested on an Interpol warrant from Sweden while he was in France. He served about a year in jail in Sweden and France. Then they sent him home to the U.S., where he was sentenced to 12 years, of which he served 4. While assuming an identity might be a good way to evade capture, assuming multiple identities when you're not even being hunted is not. You stole a what? In late October of 2024, Ocala police received a call from a man who claimed he was hiding in a tree from people who were chasing him. They then received a second call from the same man saying he was no longer in the tree but in a nearby cemetery. When police actually arrived, the man was not in the cemetery but was in a nearby field. When police spoke to the man, he was acting very strange. Eventually, he admitted that he was on probation and had taken drugs prior to calling the police. Police informed him that if he consumed drugs before they arrived and did not still have any drugs on him, they couldn't arrest or violate him for that. The man asked for psychiatric assistance, and the police began attempting to get him that. Then, out of nowhere, the man tells them he hopes they lock their doors because he likes to steal cop cars, and this happened.
Hey! 5507, man. Hey! Stop the car!
6585 I'm behind. OPD, we're westbound 10th Street.
Westbound 10th Street. Trying to fit.
Okay, good. 200 and okay.
On the ground! I'll go. Gentlemen, I told the cops twice.
I mean, if you really want to get arrested, there are seriously easier and safer ways to do that. 2 dudes break into the wrong house. Just imagine this for a moment. It's 7:15 at night. You're sitting on your couch watching TV in Sarnia. All of a sudden, the door bursts open and 2 armed men enter your home. One is waving a gun, and the other is probably not looking for a loose nail to hit with that hammer. They confront you and start yelling at you to pay them what you owe them. All of a sudden, the man with the hammer whispers something in the ear of the other man, who stops, looks around, appears confused. Then he apologizes for being in the wrong home, offers to pay for the damage to the door, and two men leave. Well, that actually happened. Yo, if you're gonna illegally collect on an illegal debt, maybe double check the address before you go inside. Up goes confiscated drugs and calls 911. We often talk about cases that involve police incompetence and or corruption on this channel. Rarely do we get the opportunity to talk about both of them at the same time. Here, listen to parts of the 911 call made available by Q13 Fox News.
I think I'm having an overdose at the store with my wife.
Overdose of what?
Marijuana. I don't know if it had something in it. Can you please send rescue?
Did you guys have fever or anything?
No, I think we're dying.
Okay, how much did you guys have?
I don't know, we made brownies, and I think we're dead. Time is going by really, 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 really slow.
Here's the kicker. The dude making this call is a cop, and the drugs were stolen from a confiscated hoard. Hey, officer, if you call the cops on yourself, you still get arrested even if you are a cop. Let's recap today's lessons. Hey, Waffles, don't take a nap in the middle of a crime spree. So, if you're day drinking, maybe don't day drunk drive too. Headed home from jail? Maybe stealing 10 cars in a semi is not a good idea. If you're planning on live streaming something that is illegal and dangerous, maybe find a secluded area to live stream it from. Look, you really should have learned not to hide in small things from Manson in 1969. Apparently, pursuing a new career in the circus is not a good idea while you're running from the police. Next time you're gonna trespass, maybe do it at a venue that's not currently being televised. Hey, those Florida cops are usually pretty good at spotting a transgender woman. Just remember that. While assuming an identity might be a good way to evade capture, assuming multiple identities when you're not even being hunted is not. I mean, if you really want to get arrested, there are seriously easier and safer ways to do that. Yo, if you're gonna illegally collect on an illegal debt, maybe double check the address before you go inside. Hey, officer, if you call the cops on yourself, you still get arrested even if you are a cop. We had tips for everyone today. Aspiring criminals the world over are now more ready to start their careers thanks to us. The aspiring drunk driver, drug user, corrupt cop, even serial break-in artists, we had tips for all of you. Leave a comment and let me know what you think about all this. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. As always, remember that super thanks and channel memberships are super cool. And now, I got a jam, so tag, you are it. On the afternoon of Saturday, November 23rd, 2024, the Vette Sheriff's Office received a call about a concern. In February of 2024, Isaiah Walker found himself when the driver started climbing into his truck. The station got footage of him nearly reaching. On March 17th, Pensacola police received a call that a felony in a stunning Ohio versus Ohio matchup. The Cincinnati Rads were, while assuming a new identity might be a good way to avoid